Hi, we're about to launch the Master Your Mind course, and I'm super excited about this as it's a beautiful collaboration between Scenario Cards and True You, and we would love to share with you what it takes to reclaim your attention, to reclaim your focus, and to bring it to what matters most to you. So, my name is John Putz. I'll be the teacher in this course. Previously, I used to work in the tech world, mostly at Google. Currently, I'm the founder of True You. In the last 4 years or so, I've had the privilege to work with some of the most talented individuals working in some of the most innovative companies out there, like Google, Vinted, Get Your Guide, L'Oreal, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Bol.com, and so on. And I've been able to try out different practices, frameworks, tools, technologies to really see what it takes for people to reclaim their time, their focus, and their energy, which might be the most precious resource that we have. Especially because we need a clear and spacious and focused mind to be able to understand where we want to go, what we want, and to not get lost and distracted in all the different things happening around us all the time, fighting for our limited attention and pulling us into all kinds of different directions. Like myself, I've been in a journey for many, many years now, trying to move from a life that felt fully busy, distracted, noisy, where I wasn't clear on what I wanted, and moving more and more towards a life where I feel deeply connected to the work I do, where I feel deeply in alignment and attunement with my purpose and my values, and where I don't feel that what I'm doing feels like work anymore. On a daily basis, experiencing much more clarity, space, and peace and contentment as I've learned the different ways that we can actually get more ownership of our attention, get more of an ability to still and quiet our mind so that we can actually start choosing how we direct our limited time and attention every day. And similarly, in these last years, I've been able to really see which things work on those thousands of humans I've had the privilege to work with. And now in this course, I would love to distill some of the best of those and share those with you. So, the Master Your Mind course is all about helping you not just to know what you want, which hopefully Scenario Cards has helped you to do already for a big part. It's also about actually bringing these understandings into action. Because it's one thing to mentally know what is important to you, what your purpose is, and it's another thing to integrate and implement this in your day-to-day life. And this is also what I've seen as one of the biggest obstacles for many people in the last years, that much of what we learn, much of the development and focus in the different trainings and courses that we learn, even in some of the most innovative companies out there, is more focused on horizontal development. It's, if you imagine us, our mind being a cup, what we do is we throw more and more tools, frameworks, information, tips, techniques into that cup, but it's limited, especially with all the noise, distractions, requests constantly around us, leaving us feeling very, very fractured and scattered, and actually having a hard time to implement and make these learnings stick. So what I feel is missing is the vertical development, which is instead of pouring more and more information and tools and practices into this limited cup size that we have, we actually make this cup bigger. We actually increase our capacity. We increase the space we have to actually take in and soak in these different pieces of information, these practices and these frameworks, and actually understand how to gradually integrate those in our day-to-day. And this is really the key to making sustainable change happen and moving more into a life that is filled with purpose, that is filled with meaning, where we actually are aligning what we do with our time and energy with our deeper values and our deeper purpose. So this is also what we have seen in different studies. One of the studies that we show a lot in the Search Inside Yourself program is that around 50% of the time our minds seem to be wandering. This means that around 50% of the time, we do not choose what we give our time and attention. It basically goes into the different directions that manage to take your attention away, whether it's requests from others, whether it's your email, your notifications, the different things happening out there, all the different apps and entertainment that is constantly fighting for your attention. So this is basically what we're up against, a mind that is very, very busy, scattered, noisy, and wandering all the time. And this is, again, one of the reasons why we would love to share this course with you, really focusing on the vertical development rather than simply pouring more information into the cup. And it's almost like building a second brain. Because if you think about how much noise and useless things are floating around in our mind all the time, if we imagine sort of reclaiming that space that is currently occupied with all those things that aren't serving you, how much more capacity there is for you to do good work, to really move forward with your plans, and to actually experience more spaciousness and clarity. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to back it with a lot of neuroscience-based studies, practices. We're going to show you that some of these things that we're teaching you have been tried and proven before on other people, so you can reclaim your attention, your focus, and focus on what matters. Take ownership of your life and really move it where you want to go. So the beauty about the Master Your Mind course is that it's not just about learning longer practices, which take a bit more time. We actually also bring in a lot of what we call micro practices. So micro practices are short practices that we can do in less than a minute that will directly show us results and bring us to a state of more clarity and more undistractable focus. In fact, I'd love to share one of them with you today. It's one of the practices that we call the 3 breaths micro practice. The way this works is you take 3 slow in and exhalations. On the first breath, you bring your full attention to the process of breathing. This means that you feel the sensations in the chest or the belly of the breath moving through your body. On the second breath, you bring your attention to the full body, and especially in the out breath, you try to relax your muscles, your micro muscles, the tension that you're holding as much as possible. Maybe the shoulders will drop, the chin will drop, maybe the face muscles that we're often holding together will relax. And then on the third breath, we ask ourselves a short but potent question: what is important right now? This is a way to really regain clarity on what are we actually doing right now? Is it what we want to do, or is there something more important that we wanted to do with this day, but we have lost it, we got carried away by something else, we got distracted, and we can bring ourselves back to following that thing that is important for us. So I'd love to share how this works. You can either close your eyes or you can lower your gaze and point it to a neutral place to avoid visual distractions. Then you take the first deep breath, breathing in and breathing out. Focusing on the felt sense of breathing, in my case, noticing the movement of the belly. Second breath, and especially on the out breath, we relax the body as much as possible. Noticing my shoulders dropping, my chin relaxing, and my face muscles, my leg muscles, all sinking a little bit more into gravity. And then the third breath, simply popping that question: what is important right now? So that's the 3 breaths micro practice. I'd love to invite you to give this a go anytime in your day where you feel stuck, you feel overwhelmed, you feel distracted, you're not exactly clear what you are doing with your time, with your day, and especially with that third breath, with that question, you intuitively sense what comes up as the thing that you really want to do with your time and energy. So again, it's a way to reclaim that attention that has wandered off and bring it onto that object or topic that is important to you. So you might ask yourself, do these practices work? Well, again, we bring in a lot of neuroscience. We have tested many of the practices over the years. There's many studies on some of those practices that really show how it works. We'll dive into the neuroscience so you can actually see what we are doing in the brain when we are doing those practices, which will help you feel more confident that this is worth your time. Also, a lot of the things that we bring in are integrations from some of the programs that I have been facilitating for the last years, in which I'm certified, like the Search Inside Yourself program, which was developed at Google, and the Make Time program, which is another renowned program known worldwide, and helping many individuals make time for what matters. The other thing that sometimes is important is ask yourself, do I have time for this? Because we really want you, again, to choose your time, how you spend it in an important way. And the way that we have sort of addressed this piece, that many people from what we see have limited time, is by making this a self-paced course. A self-paced course allows you to go in your own tempo. On days where you are a little bit more busy, you will do less. On days where you have a bit more space and time, you can do more of the course. You go step by step. There's a beautiful structure in the course that takes you through it bit by bit, and you can basically make it work with your calendar and your lifestyle. If you're wondering whether it's worth your money, another thing that's important asking, well, then what I always like to ask myself is, what is the cost of inaction? What is the cost of not taking ownership of our lives, staying stuck in some of the old belief systems, patterns, conditioning, and habits that are no longer serving us? Staying in the default way of living and working without feeling that we're actually making things happen that will move us closer into the direction that really makes us feel alive and that is aligned with our purpose and our values. And then, of course, another thing that is important is to ask yourself, can I actually build habits? You might have experience with trying different courses, different programs. And one thing, again, is that we often get inspired when we do it, but afterwards we don't always manage to integrate and implement them. Again, something that has to do with the fact that we have a limited cup. This is why our course is, again, focused on vertical development, helping your cup become bigger, so more of the things that you learn can actually integrate and stick into your life. On top of that, we have a 28-day challenge at the end of the course where you will be taken step by step through the 28 days following the completion of the course, where you will be implementing and integrating the things that you've learned. It's not going to be more than 5 to 15 minutes per day. And you're going to notice that by doing this for a longer period of time, for 4 weeks, you will start seeing that you will gradually start changing and shifting your habits. This is also what we talk about in the course in relation to neuroplasticity, which shows us that when we do something often enough, new neural pathways and connections in the brain will build, and gradually the old ones that are less and less used will start becoming less and less relevant and will slowly become also less connected. So this is the way how we will help you and support you in building these habits, and we'll actually have a whole piece of videos around how to build successful habits and how habits work. So I hope this gives you a good understanding of what a course is about. Briefly, a few benefits for you to also look at. So the first one is all around that this course is meant to give you more clarity on how you spend your time and give you more clarity on how you want to spend your time. It will help you to reclaim the most precious resource that we have, which is in our economy often thought of as money, but I believe that in the end, our time, our energy, and our attention are really the most precious thing that we have, and will help you reclaim all of that time and energy that is currently flowing into places where you don't want it to go and bring it back to where you choose it to go. We also believe that with this course will help you build the foundations to move closer to a more alive version of you, a version of you that is more in alignment and attunement with your values, with your purpose. Because one of the other things that we do with this course is we're building the foundations of a mind that has the ability to also focus more inwardly and build more self-awareness. And when our mind is more trained, our attention is more trained, we will be able to actually get more information or data from our body, from our intuition, from our gut. What is actually important? What are our deeper gifts and strengths and potential that is waiting to be brought into the world? And finally, we're not just sharing this course for you to experience great benefits and transformation. We also hope that with this, gradually over time, you will start using these deeper gifts and these deeper self-understandings to also share what you have inside of you with the world, with your environment, because we believe that the deepest fulfillment and meaning will come once we not just find what we love, not just do what we love, but actually share what we love and what we're good at for the sake of something greater than ourselves. So, we would love to invite you to share any comments, any questions that you had coming up listening to this video. Please share them below in the section. We'd love to hear from you. We'll also collect questions and try to answer those to fill you with more clarity around whether this is for you. See you soon.